Okay, and we're live. Hey, this is Imtiaz, your thought partner for deploying, building, and also selling GPT chatbots. As you know, OpenAI is changing the game. There's been so much. Oops. Yeah, if you can hear me, give me a one. Uh, yeah, this microphone setup. I'm starting to learn the skill of streaming, and I realize it's such a big opportunity. It's such a big hack to talk to everyone and just answer Q&A sessions. So I'm getting used to um, getting comfortable talking in front of the microphone and also talking with a live audience because, as you know, getting engagement, getting feedback is very critical. And if you're in the space of building GPTs and working on AI solutions, you're going to be doing a lot of talking, meaning that you will be going to your selected niche and you would be educating them because I've now, of course, your niche could be different. Your the market is going to be ahead or behind depending on where they are in the AI space. But for the most part, you would have to go in there and start uh, demonstrating the value of AI. So, one sec. So what's happened? It's like a new wave. It's a new wave. It's a new kind of environment. Things are changing rapidly, and but there's so much opportunities now. To take advantage of that opportunity, you have to understand how to navigate this place. But there, it's wide open. You can be anything, or you can be anyone you want to be. You can you can take over any niche that you want to take over. Now, the way you want to select your niche is, finding out what you are passionate about, and look at your circle, look at your skills that you already have. If you haven't set on picking a niche, that's your first area to look into, and then things will just fall into place. But then you will be talking a lot. You will be talking with your stakeholders. You'll be gathering feedback because it's not just creating a general AI solution or a chatbot and just putting it out in the marketplace. There's so many knowledge-based chatbots out there. But what's going to set you apart is understanding the problem, understanding how to solve the problem, understanding how to talk to people, how to demonstrate value with AI. So education is a big piece, and then being able to translate the stakeholders' problems into an AI solution or app will set you apart. And what that means is you need to build custom functions on top of that, and then you also have to navigate. You have to use the chatbot to solve the problem for the user. It's not AI, but it's actually problem solving. What you want to demonstrate to your audience or your or the people you're trying to sell the product to. If you haven't already, I got an old fashioned board here. If you haven't already, join school.com custom GPT AAA. Just like AAA batteries, go to this link and join my community. It's growing really fast. A lot of you are very curious and really smart, want to learn Python and want to really create the best bot possible that has custom functions, that have streaming capabilities, that can do a lot of complex things. So, in order to get really good at this skill, you have to understand the importance of having a community, importance of having mentors, importance of having a mastermind. So all these things are really critical when you're trying to develop a skill set. So whatever background you come from, you will know that the fastest way to acquiring skills is actually getting out there, putting yourself in a group with a group of people, and actually doing every day what what you are set out to do. And the same thing with my live stream here. What I intend to do is show you behind the scenes how I'm solving the problem, whether it's building an OpenAI assistant or uh, you know just coding in general, Python. A lot of you are scared when you see error messages, but that's okay. I'll show you how to navigate that. And it's not a big issue, because with development, things arise and you have to know how to navigate this. So with hundreds of iterations, it should come like second nature to you. So anyways, I see you joined and hopping in. If you can put in the chat where you're where you're from and what projects you're working on, that'll be great. Today, I want to talk a little bit about OpenAI assistants, how to get started with OpenAI assistants, how can you create your first assistant with Python, and what's going to set you apart from the competition by knowing how to solve a problem rather than just building a bot. So we're going to be talking about that. So if you're interested, definitely stick around. And yeah, definitely keen to get more feedback. A lot of you guys are interested to learn coding for beginner level Python coding. We'll cover a lot of those things as well. So I want to see where everyone is at. I see another person hopped in. If you can put in the chat where you're coming from, where you're from, what kind of projects you're working on. If you haven't already, I got this really cool old school board. So go to this link, school.com, custom GPT AAA. That's my link. Join my community. As you know, whatever background you come from, you probably understand the importance of having community, importance of having mentors and masterminds, because that's the fastest and easiest way we can achieve a skill together. And so you've all come to this place to learn a unique skill, and you've come to the right place. And you guys are smart because you guys know that AI is changing the game. So let's take over the landscape with our unique chatbots. Okay, so I've talked a lot. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. See another person joining in. If you can tell me where you're from. Yeah, this is a live session. So the goal is I want to have more Q&A sessions every week, once or twice a week. I'm also practicing my skills talking in front of the camera. And streaming is such a great way to engage with the audience, get feedback, and really set yourself apart. So let me do one thing, share my screen. Oh, from Nepal. Okay, wow, that's great. I'm originally from Bangladesh. I grew up there and I moved to the United States about 12 years ago. So I've kind of lost all my accent, but yeah, Nepal is a good neighbor. So make custom LLM an agent. Yeah, you've come to the right place. That's what we are doing today, sir. So we are building LLM, OpenAI. We're using OpenAI. So that's obviously there's so many different LLMs out there, but OpenAI GPT is working the best, has pretty good documentation so far. So I'm from, so in Bangladesh, I'm from Dhaka. In the United States, I'm from Houston, Texas. So yeah, those two places are kind of my home. So great to see you here, Vishal. Thank you for joining in. Rapaka, thank you for joining in. Now, if you guys can tell me what your skill level is in Python. Are you guys beginner, intermediate, or advanced? So I can tailor the content accordingly and take you through this journey of building OpenAI assistants. Okay, last week, what we did, we covered just Python basics. We told you how I showed you how to create functions, how to write, how to work with control flows, syntax, and all that kind of stuff. Today, I'm going to just show you quickly how you can create your first assistant using Python. Okay, you're a beginner. Okay, great. Okay, if you're a beginner, and I'm sure a lot of you guys are beginners, I've actually collected a lot of feedback from you guys, and a lot of you guys told me that you're starting off with Python. So, okay, what I'm gonna do instead, before I dive into the assistant, I'm just gonna show you the assistant framework. Okay, so I lost my stream. Okay, cool. So this is okay, cool. It's a little bit tricky to navigate streaming, but I'm sure with any skill, you have to keep doing over and over again, and it'll be second nature. So if you haven't already, uh, then I would recommend you to bookmark this page. This page is going to be your um, holy grail of building OpenAI assistants, especially using ChatGPT. And you'll notice at the top, streaming is now available in the Assistant API, which is amazing. This changed the whole game. And I made a video in YouTube how to deploy your streaming chatbots. But we'll build a streaming chatbot soon. But what I want you to get familiar with is the OpenAI Assistant Framework. Okay, so as you know, assistants are very powerful. Assistants are just like you imagine them to be. They are your AI assistants. So they can do anything you want them to do. You can give them tasks, you can give them a knowledge base, you can give them a prompt, and they will um, use that to work for you. So think about this: you are creating your employee. So a lot of you are business owners. Any of you have a business? Are you guys just students, or do you have businesses? Do you want to deploy to businesses? Where are you guys at? If you can type in the comments. And student, okay, cool. So if you're a student or business, regardless, this is my community, school.com, custom GPT AAA, like AAA batteries. Go to this link, sign up. It's free, and it's growing really fast. So hopefully, when I get to enough members, it's going to be subscription. Right now, it's free. So you guys are very lucky. Make sure you join. And computational linguistics, that's amazing. You already have a background with uh, computer science, and you understand the importance of talking to the computer. Because a lot of people, what they're doing, they're instead of knowing some fundamental Python, they're building a lot of no-code solutions, but it's going to hurt you in the long term. It's good for prototyping, but it's not going to hurt you in the long term, because when you're building no code, it's creating a Frankenstein bot. Okay, it's going to work, then it's going to break, and then what's going to happen? You're going to scramble to try to fix it. The benefit of knowing Python, you're talking directly to the computer. Understand that computers speak a unique language. If you can directly talk to the source, cutting out the middleman, you have more control, and you have more more leverage to customize, and it'll save you a lot of headache. Okay, going back to the assistants. So a lot of you are business owner, like you are students, but understand there's a lot of businesses looking for employees. Okay, they're looking for employees who are the best fit, who have motivation, who have certain skills. It takes a while to find the best fit. Trust me, I've been in the corporate world for a long time. I work as a data scientist. So it's really hard to employ people with that skill set, because it's very rare. And people, and the recruiting process is so complicated. And the managers get so frustrated. So you might have 5 or 6 months no employees, because you just can't find the right candidate. Now, imagine this. What's going to happen in the future? We're going to come. So this is changing, right? Because now you have OpenAI assistants. You can build assistants that can do anything for you. Specialized tasks. Like, I actually have some assistants working for me. So if you don't believe me, check this out. You go to this website, customgpt.aaa.com. This is my website. Okay, I just created this last week. Okay, notice I have a chatbot right here at the bottom on the right. So you click on this, instantly, this is my assistant working for me, right? It's a support team, but it's really a custom GPT AI bot. So let me show you. Hello. Literally talking to my assistant right now. Streaming chatbot. My assistant can send emails, collect leads, and also give you value, right? Let's say I want to build a bot for my website. Check this out. It's giving you the responses, and it's also an amazing sales agent because it's telling the person it's providing value, and then it's saying, all right, you want to learn more? Book a call with me, 30 minutes. And then see what happens when you click this link. It goes straight to my calendar, and then I can talk to that person. Now, I could just employ someone from the Philippines or someone to take calls for me, this, but that won't be 24/7. Oh, type the link of the chat. Yeah, so it's going to be www.customgpt.aaa.com. Yeah, that's the website. If you're liking this video so far, hit the like button. Share with your friends if they want to join. Let's join. Let's have a discussion. What I want to do eventually, I just don't want to talk myself. I know this is we're all in kind of doing the same thing. We're all working and learning the same skills. So I'd rather we get on a Google Hangout one of these days. Okay, we get on a Google Hangout, and instead of me driving, I want you guys to drive, do the work on a Python solution, and then we can all kind of collectively provide feedback. So I think that would be great. We can all kind of jump in, drive a little bit, and do that. Okay. So if you guys joining in, let me know where you're from. This is a live session. And if you haven't joined my community, school.com, custom GPT AAA. So that's my community, and I put the website on the comments. So take a look at the website. I'll give you some time. Take a look at the website, play around with the bot, and let me know what you think. It can send emails. So if you want to send the email to yourself, any message, just do so. I have infinite email message quota. So that's another hack I found out. I'll show you. I'll teach you guys later how to get that set up. A lot of businesses actually want assistants to send emails, to make calls, to book calendar. So these are great skills. Okay, people are already doing that, deploying it in their niche. So don't get left behind. This is really fascinating times. All right, let's see. I keep losing my tabs. I have so many tabs open. Let's see. I've actually created a presentation, and it's also funny because I used a custom GPT to create a presentation. So let me see if I can find this. Probably, yeah. There we go. A presentation created by custom GPT. Well, it's not the best. It's the first draft, but it gives you some text to look at while you're joining and you kind of getting used to the space. You might be wondering how can you generate slides? Is it a software? Is it app? No, um, it's really a custom GPT. So if you go to ChatGPT, you go to explore GPTs and create slides. So you type that, it will give you a GPT that creates slides for you. So these are all the GPTs. You could be building some of these GPTs. All they do is put ChatGPT in a costume. So they write amazing prompts and they embed some functions, and essentially they carry out some essential AI functions. Now, are we learning prompt engineering today? We can. Do you want to learn prompt engineering? We can dive into prompt. Let me know what you want to learn, and we can tailor the content to that topic. I was going to teach everyone how the OpenAI Assistant Framework, but if you want to learn prompt engineering, we can dive into that. So let me know what you're struggling with. Put it in the chat. We'll cover that one at a time. So yeah. So let's finish this. And then once we finish OpenAI Assistant Framework, we'll go into prompt engineering. Okay, because that's going to also be important when you're building the assistant, the prompt. Okay. So as I was talking about, assistants being an employee. So you can build your own employee. Just like I have an employee that's taking calls, not calls, but taking messages from you guys in my website. You can create something that does a similar thing, whether it's creating slides. Welcome to the chat, Garrett. If you can type in the chat where you're from and what you would like to learn, that would be great. We can cover those topics. We are covering OpenAI Assistant Framework today. So we are just getting everybody familiar with assistants, how they work. Texas, amazing. Yeah, I'm actually from Houston, Texas as well. So great to have you join. The great thing with YouTube is that people are joining from all over the world. So this is exciting. I'm a beginner. Okay, no worries, man. No worries. A lot of you guys are beginners, and I totally understand. Python is not hard these days to learn. I generally teach Python, but before you even learn Python, you have to understand how to use it, or where to use it, and why you should use it, especially in the context of OpenAI assistants. I was telling everyone how powerful OpenAI assistants are because you can literally build your own employee. Tell them to do a specific task for you, and they'll do it. They're working 24/7 for you, just like in my website. Okay, if you go to my website, customgpt.aaa.com, just like AAA batteries. If you go to my website, you can instantly talk to my assistant. So okay, that's assistance. Okay, now OpenAI made it really easy for you to create your assistants, and what's going to set you apart is when you have Python skills to create that assistant. You can create assistants with custom GPT interface as well. Those are great. You can also monetize your assistants in the OpenAI platform. You can monetize your assistants. You can create your custom GPT, put a prompt, have it solve a problem, and if more people are using it, okay, it's by usage basis. If a lot of people are using it, you're going to get rewarded by OpenAI because because you're providing a service. All right, so Python. So OpenAI assistant. So you have an assistant. Okay, I want you to think about this. You have an assistant, and what goes into an assistant is threads. Okay, what is thread? Well, thread is a collection of messages. Okay, so you might be wondering, okay, assistants, how do they understand context? Like when they're trying to solve a problem, give you advice, what kind of knowledge are they pulling it from? Okay, and what they're essentially doing, they're getting knowledge from a couple of areas. First is the thread, then you have the knowledge base, okay, and the prompt, as well as the functions. Now, one of the people in the chat, they mentioned they want to learn prompt engineering, and that is important, the prompt aspect. And I would say if I was going to do an 80-20, what's the most important things when you're building the assistant, I would say the 80-20 will be the prompt. You can build an amazing assistant, but without the right prompt, it's going to be a drunk Frankenstein bumbling bot that doesn't know how to talk properly. So you're going to ask a question, it's going to say, I don't know, I don't have this knowledge. Clearly, it does have the knowledge, it has the function, it has the capability, but it just doesn't know how to answer. So think about this: garbage in, garbage out. Feed in garbage, you get garbage out. You're building an employee, you don't hire someone. Think about this: you don't hire someone for a job without giving them a job description. Similarly with assistants, you have to give them a job description. If the job description is just answer the question, it's going to answer the question, but not in the way you want it to. Okay, so that's the knowledge base. So you have the thread. So thread is a list of messages. So when you talk to the assistant, you're going to send your message, and the assistant is going to send their response back. Okay, and then you're going to have a back and forth conversation with the assistants, and that's going to be stored in a thread, which is a collection of messages. Now, when you have a collection of messages, now the bot understands context. Like, okay, this is the conversation we had so far. So that's thread. So we send a message. In this case, this is a personal finance bot. The thread is retirement planning. So let's say somebody comes in, let's say you go to my website and you were talking to the bot, you ask a question, hey, I want to know about custom GPT or something. Similarly, in that context, how much should I contribute to my retirement plan? So somebody actually asked this question to the assistant. So the thread is now putting it together, like this is the concept, this is the context. So you should contribute $478 per year. This is the assistant's message. All right. So it's responding back. Now, the assistant can do several things when they get a user's message. Okay. They have the capacity to do tons of things. All right. And that's what makes assistants amazing, because they take the LLM, the power of LLM, like understanding large language, understanding natural language, and working with large language models. They take that and they put it in different contexts, like running a function, like taking information from a knowledge base. Knowledge base is just like think of it like a list of documents, PDF, Word doc, or whatnot. Okay. All right, I'm gonna try something. Okay, I don't know if this is gonna work. I'm gonna try. So I have a tablet. I'm gonna try to draw on the tablet and see if you guys can see it. So I think it'll be easier. A lot of you guys are joining in. If you love learning the 80-20 of this, yeah, Garrett, absolutely. So you know what it is, man. Anything with learning a new skill, you have to understand what the 80-20 is. Because you could be spending 10 years learning a skill and you don't know, and you're still not good at it because you just haven't figured out what you need to learn. And you need someone, a mentor, a community to guide you, to tell you, okay, these are the important things, and you have to get better and focus on those. So setting your priorities are important. I'm going to switch my screen. I'm going to see if this works. All right, I've got a handy dandy notepad. I don't know if you can see. Let me share my other screen. Entire screen, screen 2. All right, cool. So I have a word. What do you call this? A paint. The old-fashioned way, right? This is gonna be great. Because I don't like putting stuff on the whiteboard, because this is like it takes away your attention. But anyways, I still have a whiteboard. So if if you guys go to school.com, custom GPT AAA, join my community. It's growing really fast. I want to eventually start charging you guys because, uh, no, I will not. But if you guys join, like, if you guys are the first subscribers there, you're going to get lifetime access to my community, which is great. After I reach 100, there's going to be new members, and obviously I'm going to be charging them. All right, so let's see. All right, cool. I guess I can draw here. All right. So what we're gonna do is talk about the assistant inference space. So the assistant is your employee. Your employee has a set of knowledge, set of instructions, a set of functions. So that's the limitations, or that's the space that the assistant is working with. So this is the assistant, okay? This is your assistant. And this is the inference space. Okay, so what that means, this is, you have the LLM, the GPT, whatever. That's like the AGI, the general intelligence. But the assistant is designed to take only the elements of the general intelligence that serve it to perform the action or the task at hand. Okay, so it's still like, let's say you build an assistant to be a food blogger, for instance. Like, hey, I want you to recommend food items or something like that in a particular city. It's going to do that. It's going to be amazing. But let's say you ask the question something outside of that instruction or context. So you say, hey, what's the weather today? Something like that. And the assistant's going to be like, oh, well, I'm not specialized here in this knowledge, but if you want to check the weather, go here. Go to this website. It's still going to perform well, but it's going to let you know that it's specialized in a certain task. So that's the benefit of having an assistant that's trained on an LLM, and then it can carry out certain things. Now, let's say it has, now it's okay. So what are the components? You have the knowledge base, we'll call it KB. Then you have the functions, which in assistance, they call it tools. Then you have the instructions, okay? Let's call it I. Well, let's call it P, prompt, okay? And then you have the threads. Okay, so this is the inference space, the knowledge base. You have the functions, you have the prompt, you have the threads. This is all the context it's going to get, and then it's also using its ability to understand natural language and its connection with LLMs to give you a more robust response. Now, there are several LLMs out there. You can equip your assistant with the best LLMs out there. Okay, so OpenAI has a couple of LLM models. So if you're living in a cave, then I have to tell you, man, ChatGPT is changing the game. If you haven't played with ChatGPT, please do. It's going to be a game changer. Oh, okay. I think my screen froze. If you can, I'm a visualer, so I love this type of learning. Yeah, thank you, Garrett, and appreciate the engagement, guys. Look, I'm doing this for you guys. The Q&A is so that I can get to understand what kind of problems you're struggling with, and then using my years of expertise in data science, Python, OpenAI, I can equip you with the best tools so for you to get started in this space. So yeah, please share your questions. Love the questions. All right. Oh yeah, so I think this is where it's at. Yeah, I'm getting used to the streaming. So all right, I'm gonna move out of this screen again. All right. I'm gonna switch back to my old screen. Let's see. All right, how to build custom LLMs other than English. You know, ChatGPT actually speaks more than 30 languages. So the way you can do this, set it apart, is just within the prompt itself. Just provide instructions to respond in a particular language. I actually built a chatbot for one of my clients, and they operate in Mexico, so they have a lot of clients coming in who speak who are bilingual, English and Spanish. So what happens is the chatbot is instructed to adapt uh, based on what the user is giving them. So if the user is saying "Hola, cómo estás," the chatbot is going to respond in Spanish. If the so you can set those limitations in the prompt, and yeah, ChatGPT can understand. If that's your question, yeah, it can understand different languages. All right, so we talked about the inference space. So now you have the knowledge base, you have the thread, you have all this capabilities for the assistant. Now think about this. When you send a message to the assistant, check this out. You send a message like, "Hey, I recommend me a food in let's say Nepal. Recommend me some food in Nepal." And the chatbot's gonna be like, "Okay, great. Da da da. Here's a list of food." But let's say if we equip the chatbot with a function, the function could be sending emails. All right. So the function could be sending emails. So check this out. It's gonna say, "Okay, here's a list of food items. Would you like me to send you an email?" Of course. And then boom, you say yes, it sends you an email. So the way the assistant understands this is through this run function. Okay, we're gonna dive into Python coding in a little bit, where I'll show you each step and what's happening at each step. So essentially, when we are basically creating this message, we're putting it into a thread, we're preparing the run. Okay, and when we actually run it, that's when the assistant processes everything it knows and using all the instruction to really carry out the task efficiently. And that's the beauty of assistants. So when they're doing the run function, the assistant was like, "Okay, this person wants an email. This person wants this person. I could use this function to make this response a little bit better," and it responds accordingly. And this is also, if you have the streaming capabilities on, the run function is where we can incorporate the streaming capabilities, and it will make things a lot more smoother. If you want to know what streaming looks like, go to my website, customgpt.aaa.com, interact with my assistant. I've actually built everything out in that assistant itself, so you can actually see what's happening, the speed, the response, and how the streaming really works. All right. If so, how can I get more info? Yeah, Garrett, I'd say yeah, chat with me after this call. We will get. I'm getting a lot of clients, so I might it might be a while, but what you can do really quick, just go to my website, just say book a call. Okay, if you just say book a call in my assistant, what's gonna happen? The assistant is gonna give you a link. So go to this link and book a call with me. It's 30 minutes, easy, free, painless, saves me time, saves you time. And the bot is going to take care of all the logistics. So don't worry about that. All right, doesn't fit well with the languages other than that of Indo-European family. My native language. Okay, I got you. I got you. Yeah, if yeah, there is some exception cases. Okay, so that's what you're trying to do. Okay, this is great. This is great. So a lot of people are actually building million, billion-dollar companies just creating LLMs. I want to show you something really interesting. I want to show you. Where is this? I have it open. Okay, this right here. All right, you see my screen? I lost the chat. All right, let's see the chat. So many tabs open. All right. Cool. So check this out. This is a community-driven project. It lists all the LLMs currently out in the market, and there's a leaderboard based on different criterias. Like a lot of people are going in there. You can go in there as well and do a head-to-head comparison between different models. I'm going to show you one of these models. I'm going to draw some images, show you what it looks like in Claude 3 and GPT-4, and show you how it's different. But check this out. This is a leaderboard of all the models. You can go in and see what everybody is doing, what are some limitations. Like, for example, Mistral. Mistral is an open source LLM, okay? Meaning people can go in there, use it for free, and they're not charging you. You can build Rapakat. You mentioned you want to build a whole new LLMs. That is great, because you know what? Because there's going to be businesses that are going to be built on top of that model. So what you could do is build an open source structure, or perhaps you can even charge for people using the models, but it has to be good. Okay, I want to see your LLM at least in the top 10. Okay, because other than that, I'm not going past number 10. Well, there's actually 2 10s here, but I don't know what's going on. All right. Yeah, so you want to be in the top 10, get some recognition for people to start using your model. Okay, if you're just joining in, let me know where you're from and yeah, what projects you're working on. All right, so from this list, you can see GPT-4 Turbo is the best so far, and it's trained up until 2023-12, so there's a knowledge cutoff. But I use this mostly for coding and building OpenAI assistants, but you can do it for anything else. Image generation is great. Claude 3 is getting close. Claude 3 is moving fast. I'm going to show you Claude 3 how it works. Opus is their premium version of their LLM. They have Soneta, I believe. That's the free version that you can go into the website and start playing around with it. Yeah, Claude 3 Sonnet. That's the LLM. All right. So yeah, so you have it's a Gemini. I'm not a big fan of Gemini. Okay, so I've used Gemini. Not the best so far, but it's free. You could use it and see how that works for you. Now, if you're building a project, you want a prototype, it's a great place to start. Okay, what are we talking about? Okay, so how assistants work. Creating assistants. All right, let's do something really fun. Let's do something fun. I talked about creating assistants. Now you know somewhat a framework, how it works. Before we get into coding, let's kind of have some fun with the ChatGPT. And let's compare with Claude. I have Claude open and ChatGPT. Do some image generation. I think that will be fun. Okay, so let's say I type a picture. I say draw an image of a frustrated business owner who is not using AI for their business. In the background, have a lot of unproductive employees goofing off and money going down the drain. All right. Now, I know it's a little bit funny, but this is really the reality. You know, like I see a lot of people are hesitant and still snoozing on AI, and you know, I feel sorry because you know you're going to be left behind. Trust me. You know, AI is moving fast, and if you still haven't understood the capabilities of AI, and yeah, check this out. That's going to be you. If you're a business, you know, you're going to be frustrated Uh, you have employees doing a lot of unnecessary work when they could be using their creative talents to something even better. All right, let's draw the same image in Claude. All right, I don't really do image generation, but there's experts. I have a couple of friends who work with image generation. In any way I can only perceive and analyze. Oh, okay, so already you can see the AI is not equipped with generating images. All right, okay, whatever. So there is some limitations, but Claude can do other things, right? Like it can, let's see what it can do. It can recommend style improvements, convert UI design to front end code. Oh, okay, that's going to be very useful. A lot of you want to build websites. Okay, Rob, because Gemini Bard is multimodal. Why don't you like it? I like it, but the thing is, it's not there yet. It's really amazing. It just depends on the problems you're trying to solve. If you look at the leaderboard, it's still behind with the general LLM like tasks. So now, when it comes to multimodal, I'm not solving mostly multimodal problems, but for a lot of people, that's actually useful. You have audio, you have video, you have image, and the chatbot works really well, putting all that input together and constructing a response. But it's still not there yet. Just its core fundamental capabilities, which is producing text, has not has not been on par with ChatGPT so far. From my personal experience and from the leaderboard, you can see it's still not there yet. But they're getting there. Google has a lot of talented engineers, so they're going to figure it out. All right, so now let's do something, a contrast. Draw an image of a happy business owner who is using AI for their business. In the background, you have AI and humans working in harmony and solving amazing problems together with a lot of speed and passion. Okay, so I hope that answers your question, Rapakat. Yeah, and if you have, I mean, these are great questions. I really appreciate you guys asking questions and really engaging, because yeah, and also streaming is such a great hack. So think about this. You, a lot of your students now, maybe you are creating a chatbot for a business, and you want to innovate in a space. Now, you might be passionate about a certain niche. I have my niche, like I have a couple of niches that I'm focused on, and then you have a particular niche that you're focused on. So are other people. Like there is infinite niches. OpenAI, these guys are not going to go after the small niches, right? So these are AGI models. General intelligence is really great, but that's where you come in, right? You come in, you build unique apps, unique AI-driven apps that solve a problem for a given niche. You see what you're passionate about. You see your circle, what questions, what problems they're having, and you be the authority in that space. Streaming is such a hack. I'm telling you, if you go in there and start talking, just talking, asking questions, showing these pictures. Look, this is a frustrated business owner. They really want to hire amazing talent. They really want to understand AI. This could be a business owner in your neighborhood, in your niche, in your community. And you have the power now to create OpenAI solutions, AI assistants, and make them, well, not change their gender, but, well, yeah, you know what I'm saying. Like they are going to be happy, productive, and doing a lot of cool stuff, right? So yeah, you have the power. So go out there, start talking, start educating. People need to learn about AI. Build a system for them. create AI apps for them. Like Rapakat, I'm really proud of you, man, for stepping it up. You figured out there's opportunity because languages, there's ChatGPT is not going to cover all the languages like we talked about. OpenAI is not going after all the small languages, all the small niches. That's where you have the power. Understand this. You have the power because you understand the problem. You understand the opportunity. Now the next step is how to implement. Okay? How to create an app, the perfect app. So to build a perfect app, you need Python. You need to know how to code. And the beauty of coding, or nowadays, you don't really need to know code. You just need to know the problem. Tell ChatGPT to come up with the code, the Python code. As long as you know the fundamentals, you're gonna crush it. A lot of these guys are creating no-code apps, Band-Aid, Frankenstein bots that's gonna come back and haunt them in their sleep. What's a cool thing with no code? I mean, the Python is that you can create an app. You know, if you come across any issues, give it back to ChatGPT. Let them assume the role of an AI developer, and then it's going to fix the problem for you. All right. So you just be the manager. You think about this. The skill nowadays is not Python. Okay. So if you want to understand more, I'm not really teaching you Python. I'm really teaching you how to think. Okay. So look, go to my community, school.com, custom GPT AAA. Okay. Custom GPT AAA, like AAA batteries. Okay. I'm teaching you how things have been changing lately. I don't code nowadays. I don't write code. I just tell ChatGPT to figure it out. And then I take the solution, wrap it up, and then craft it in a unique way, and then I'm done. Okay. But you still need to know some fundamentals. Okay. You're going to be, I think the marketplace is moving towards being a jack of all trades. If you know a little bit of everything, like a little bit of concepts, you can put ChatGPT to work in different unique roles and create unique solutions for you. All right. So, anyways, talked a lot. I didn't show you how to create an OpenAI assistant yet, but that's probably the easiest part because if you understand how to think, if you understand the concepts, and if you understand where things are moving, this is going to be a piece of cake, really. All right, let me show you how easy it is to build an assistant. Okay, this is the last piece. I only have 8 minutes. My coffee is getting cold. All right, so let me show you how to build this assistant. Okay, so OpenAI Assistant. I'm going to have a course in my community pretty soon. Cool thing with the notebooks is that you can share it among yourselves, practice, try different things. You can share with me, come to the coding sessions like, hey, Imtiaz, I tried doing this. I'm having some issues. Can you help me figure it out? Share me your notebook and we'll figure it out together, okay? It's not hard. Everybody makes it seem like it's hard, but it's really not. Okay, so you go to the secrets. Everybody has an open, you guys should all have an OpenAI key. Just keep it somewhere safe right here. Like OpenAI, the collaboratory has a unique space where you can put in your secrets and it's stored securely in your computer. And when you share your notebooks, people don't really see the OpenAI key that you have. So if you don't use OpenAI, if you don't use Google Collaboratory, I recommend you highly to use this because it's really easy to prototype. You're not constrained by the limitations of your machine, and go in the cloud, start building out, the prototype. You could set up templates for yourself. Like for me, I set up the OpenAI Assistant integration guide, which really helps me create assistants really quick. All right, this is not my API key, so don't worry about it. Okay, so let's see what we can get here. All right, so pip install. So you always need to set up your environment here. So the only package that we need for our case is going to be the OpenAI package. And package is a list of functions. OpenAI has a bunch of functions that they provided to you. The way you have access to this is just run this pip install, and it's going to install this in your notebook. Okay. Boom. You would have to install this every time. You'd have to install it every time because Google Collaboratory is not persistent like your local machine. I'm going to teach you how to run this in a local machine as well, but for the purposes of everyone who's a beginner, I want to get you started with Google Collaboratory first. Get to understand and get comfortable with Python. Just pushing you into the ocean just a little bit so you can learn how to swim, and then you eventually figure out all the strokes and stuff like that. All right, so we import the OpenAI package, and then we import the OpenAI function from the package. Okay, these are some common things that you need to do to set up your environment. Okay, and actually, let's do it. And you want to get to a place where you're comfortable setting up the client object. Okay, the client object is going to be your OpenAI function authenticated with your OpenAI key. So let's run this bad boy and see this in action. Okay, it ran successfully. Okay, so it took my OpenAI key that I have right here, put this inside the OpenAI function, get OpenAI function, right? And then it authenticated the client. So let me look at the client object. Let's see what it looks like. All right, this is ready to go. You already have the client object. With client objects, you have infinite potential, right? Because think about this. These are all, if you go to the API reference and you look at all the capabilities, you have the assistants, then you have all the generative AI functionalities. Does that make sense so far? Am I going too fast? Let me know in the chat if you're comfortable with this. There's certain things that you want to learn more of. You can tailor that content. All right, so image, audio. This is also cool. I did not know this, but you can create audio input. Audio output in real, like it's very human-like voices with OpenAI. And one of these videos, I'm going to show you how you can do that. Provide a transcript and create an MP3 of audio from a bot. Okay. All right. So boom. So you have the client object. Now you want to create the assistant. Step 2, creating the assistant. So the way you create the assistant, go back here to the reference, and then you go to assistants, and yeah, so OpenAI gives you the template to basically plug and play and create your assistants. I just put everything together in one notebook. I'll share it with you guys so you guys can play around as well. Just made it really easy for you to just go step by step. So there's 4 components to building this assistant. You need the name, you need the instruction, you need the model, and you need the tools. There's different kinds of tools. You have the retrieval. So the retrieval is going to be basically the knowledge base. And that's the terminology they use, the retrieval. I have a course that talks more about knowledge base. What is RAG? If you guys know, retrieval augmented generation. This is a big capability of an assistant. And a lot of people are just caught up in the technicalities. But all it is really taking knowledge from a document and then putting together a really concise response using generative AI. That's really what it is. And then you have the code interpreter. That's one of the tools. And then you have the function calling. So function calling, in terminology of OpenAI, they call it tools. So we have name, instruction. Instruction is going to be the prompt. I think one of you guys wanted to learn prompt. I don't have time this session to talk into prompt, but I have some hacks you can use for better prompt engineering. I'll talk about it in the next video. Make sure you like and comment, and we will get more content out to you guys. Okay. So, and the model. So you always want to start with GPT 3.5 because the cost aspect. If you're starting off from scratch, you don't want to create something like a monster and let it go wild, and then you're gonna lose all your OpenAI credits. Okay. So we create the assistant. Let's say we create the assistant e-tax help, or we call it e-tax. Your helpful assistant. You answer a question on taxes. Answer 50 tokens less. I'm not using the best prompt engineering practices. I have some hacks to incorporate prompt engineering, but this is just for a demo. Okay. Let's go create this assistant. All right, just like that, we just created our first assistant. How easy was that? Okay. And now you can now see the assistant object. So go to another code. This is the assistant object that we just created. The main thing that you need to really know is the assistant ID. Okay. To really access the assistant ID anywhere in the notebook, you just type ID because that's the ID object within the assistant. Okay. So yeah, you have this text called assistant ID, and this is really what you need to really focus on. The 80-20 is understanding each of these components and knowing where it fits in. Aside from the prompt, but yeah, the thread ID, assistant ID, run ID, all these are important things to know, and you must know how it works, where it fits in, if you want to work with assistants. Okay. Assistant files. I don't have any files, so this is. I'm going to delete this block. This was for trying out something different. Now the next piece, we talked about this. Let's see where's the assistant framework. Documentation. How assistants work. We talked about this, right? You have the assistants, and then you have the threads. So how it works, we created the assistant, now we create a thread. So first we start with an empty thread. So if you go to my website again, I know I'm plugging my website a lot, but but it's literally everything I'm teaching you, I've done it. Okay, so there is I have no shame, just showing you how it works. So you just understand that all this is possible and you can do it too. So look, when somebody comes into the website and types a message, like let's say hello, all right, and it's creating a thread. Okay, it's creating a thread. Well, actually, yeah, first it creates a thread, because thread is like anytime somebody comes in the website and just sends a message, first we want to initiate is a new thread. Okay, because it's an empty thread, empty context. We want to start from scratch. So thread, as you know, is a collection of messages. When you create a new thread, it's going to be empty. So let's see what it looks like when I've created a new thread. And thread is not attached to any assistants currently, right? It's just by itself, and it has a thread ID. Just like before, we can pull out the ID just like that when you type thread.id. I don't need this, so I'm gonna block this out. I'm gonna get this one out too. I was just playing around with it before starting a thread. We already did this. Sending a message. All right, so the next piece is sending a message. So somebody said hello in the website. In this case, it's a tax helper. So we say, what are some best practices to fill out your taxes? So we're sending a message object. Well, we're creating a message object. We're assigning the thread ID with the thread ID we just created. The role is the user, and the content is what are the best practices. Already, this is a template. OpenAI has set it up. I'm just giving you a step-by-step process. So I run this. This is good. You see the green check mark, that means it has successfully ran. We can also check the message object. What does it look like? The message has an ID, and it has the contents here, the value you can see here, the role. These are important. This gives context to the assistant later about the whole conversation. Now, this might be the tricky part, but we have an easier solution, but I just want to show you what it looks like now that we have the message and thread and how it's gonna work out. So we create a run. Let's go back to the assistant, how it works. We create a thread, we create a message, we put the message appended to the thread. Now the thread has a collection of messages or just one message, it doesn't matter. And then we initiate the run. Okay, that's the last step. So we create the run object, run beta threads, run create. This is the function that OpenAI has already set it up for us. We give them the thread ID, the assistant ID. That's all the run needs to know. So I'll give you a basic layman's term in terms of like how the run is working. So basically, run has a component called the status. Okay, so run, as it's running, there's a status. Like, okay, this run is queued, in progress, or is completed, right? So we check the status every second. Every second, we're going to check the status to see if it's completed. So if it's not, if it's queued, in progress, or cancel, then we are going to we're going to run it. We're going to wait 1 second, and we're going to run it again. And then if it's completed, right, we're going to retrieve with the function client beta threads run retrieve. We're going to retrieve that specific run. Okay, so so check if the run completed successfully. So if the run status is completed, so we basically go in and and the messages is client beta threads message list thread ID. So what's going to happen when the run is completed? The thread is going to have a response back from the assistant. Okay, remember, thread is a collection of messages. User assistant, user assistant. It's like a thread conversation. So the last message from the assistant is going to be in that thread. So we're going to retrieve that message. First, how we do this, we see the run is completed. We retrieve all the messages in a particular thread. We print these messages out. Okay, let's just run it. Talked a lot. Let's just run this thing. See how it works. It's running. Look, it's going each step, and it's giving me the response. Now, all right, so here's the message. Content, text content block, value. To fill out your taxes effectively, follow these best practices, gather all necessary, blah, 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 blah. So you have the message coming back from the assistant. This is great. Another way, because if you have a collection of messages, you're gonna get all the messages. So you don't want that. You just want the last message from the assistant. We just run this. Oh, another thing. You have to set when you're running this, I'm gonna write this a little bit better. We're running this, you're gonna get the assistant's response and your question, the user role. So we have to set up condition that checks the role of the message. So when we check that condition, it's gonna return not my question, but the assistant's response. But really, that's what it is. The meat and potatoes of the OpenAI Assistant Framework. There are some extra steps and challenges. You can play around with it, explore different instructions, customize the assistant model, wrap it in a function, error handling, UI integration, performance optimization. There's a lot of areas where you can take this, okay, knowing the fundamentals. But what I would start with if you are a beginner with Python, I would go in there and start to at least figure out how to create the client object. Okay, go back to the notebook, share the notebook, create your client object, use your OpenAI API key, create an assistant, set up your function, set up your instructions, set up your model. You can go to OpenAI, um, your OpenAI account, okay, and you can go to assistants, and you can actually see all your assistants that you've created. Okay, so basically, then you can play around with the assistant and and see that in the OpenAI platform. If you're just a beginner, if you want to go take things further, start creating threads, start creating messages, start creating runs, start retrieving runs, start retrieving the messages from the runs. Okay, so I covered a lot. I know you guys you've been asking a lot of questions: how to create your assistant, how to start learning Python, and how to create streaming bots. I'll help you with all that. Come join every week. I believe it's Friday today, so I'm probably going to do this Wednesdays and Fridays. So join me, and we'll host some classes. If you want to engage with the community, go to school.com, customgpt.aaa.com. Let's learn together, and let's innovate in this space. All right, it's me, Imtiaz, signing off, your thought partner to build, deploy, and sell GPT chatbots.